Welcome everyone to the first official episode of the podcast that we don't have a name for yet.
Yeah. This is the beta test,
This is the beta test.
and it's sponsored by Pablo's Art Studio. You see that? Yes, you
TLE, if you're watching this and you wanna, if you need an opportunity, dude, that's a massive company. But yeah, so 2024, going into 2024, got some new equipment, and we're testing some things out here in preparation for another project that I have. And I thought, there's no better opportunity to get my good friend Renato here on the podcast. And I think that the idea for the podcast is to highlight creators' journeys and really shine the spotlight on how they got to where they are, what they do, what their specialty is, what they're passionate about. Because I think for me, for the longest time, people told me that I couldn't make money doing photography and video work because it wasn't like a real career path. So I just want to diminish that and let people know that whatever it is they're out to, or whatever they're passionate about, they can get after it and they can make a living doing it. So let's jump right in. Give us maybe like like a 1 minute little like high level intro on like who you are, what you do, what your business is, and what kind of clients you serve. Because I know you're kind of specialty focused. So
my Instagram is specialty focused, but I kind of shoot everything.
Okay.
My name is Renato. My Instagram is Fury Photography. That's what I'm more known for. People don't even know my actual real name sometimes. They just call me Fury, which is
they say,
"Yo,
what up, Fury?"
It's funny. Someone said, "Hey, is your name Nick?" And I was like, "No, I'm not Nick Fury, thanks." But anyway, I gained my popularity more in the CrossFit space. All of my Instagram is fitness, but a lot of the work that I do as well has absolutely nothing to do with fitness. I just don't post about it, which is fine. I gained my popularity through there, and I just leave it at that. I have another page, which is just like stuff that I shoot randomly.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to make that page into a mix of stuff when it was kind of born and made that way.
When people ask you what you do, right? Like a random stranger, like oh, like you're just talking to them. What do you do?
It's funny. I recently had this conversation that it still hasn't hit me that I am just a photographer and a videographer, because for the last the last 6 years before this, I was an insurance agent that did content on the side. So I worked in an insurance agency. It was inside a car dealership. It was 40 hours a week, but I would only have like 1 weekend off. So I would have random days off. And
insurance sales inside of a car dealership?
Yeah. So they have an insurance agency inside the car dealership.
Like all
so
auto insurance?
Yeah, it was like an Allstate agency.
Okay.
Yeah, so whenever someone purchased a car, they would come and see me. We have to make sure there's insurance on the car before they leave. And then that's it, whether it's with us or with someone else.
But don't most people have their own insurance when they come in and
They do,
trade a car and buy a car?
Yeah, but we need to make sure that the new car that they're purchasing is on their insurance before they leave.
Okay.
So
it could be anybody. You might not necessarily be selling them the policy. You're just verifying what they have. Okay.
I'm almost there to protect the dealership to make sure the car leaves with insurance.
Right.
And then if we're a cheaper price, we sell it, and then that's how we make money. So like a lot of the times, like 90% of the times, I'm not selling anything.
That's smart though.
Yeah, it's smart for them. Yeah.
If there was someone in a car dealership who was like, I can get you insurance for $50 cheaper a month, I'd be like, sign me up.
Correct.
Right now. Like it's so easy to switch,
So like they double dipped. It worked for them, and it also protects them that like, someone, I'll do it at home, and then they don't, and then they get into a car accident.
Yeah.
So
tell us about the young Renato, where you came from, and where you're, how you got into photography.
That's my dad. So like my dad always had like a DSLR, but he wasn't like doing it he was just doing it because he just liked to just photograph.
Okay.
And I would always ask him for his camera. He'd tell me no. And then he eventually gave me like one of his old ones, and I like beat it to shit, obviously, like just by playing around with it, shooting everything. And then I just did in high school and just started messing around. And after I graduated high school, I put all my camera gear in a bag, and then I left it at my house, or at my mom's house, and was there for like 9 years in the closet.
Wow.
Didn't touch it. I graduated college. What was it, 2012?
Where is all this happening?
Where's all what happening?
everything? Is it in South Florida?
So
or?
my mom lives in North Miami Beach. She still lives there, or Aventura.
Okay.
She's there. She's still there. That's where home was.
Okay.
Then when I went to college, it was FAU, and like I said, when I graduated high school, I literally didn't touch a camera for like 9 years. After I graduated college, and then 5 years after that, it was. What was it, September 2017? I went over to my mom's house, and then she's like, "Well, since you're here, clean out your closet because like you don't really live here anymore." So
I've had that talk a few times with my mom.
Yeah, like you got so much stuff there. We're trying to clean stuff out. I'm gonna make this into like it's still your room, but it's not like your room.
Yeah.
So clean stuff out, and then I just found this old dusty bag, and I was like, "Let me just. I don't want to buy another camera. I'm just gonna buy another battery because it was dead."
Yeah.
So I went on Amazon, got a battery, and then I just started shooting around for fun. I was already doing CrossFit at the time, so I was like, I'm just going to take this in the CrossFit gym.
You were actually working out at CrossFit.
Yeah. I was just working out as a member. I wasn't like shooting it. And then a buddy of mine was already shooting CrossFit photography, so I was like, hey, like, I'm just going to watch you for a little bit, and then I'll just start doing it myself. And then just started doing it, playing around, like messing around, stuff like that. At that time, I didn't even like go on YouTube. I was just like, whatever, F around, find out. Like go on Lightroom, figure it out, see how good it looks. And then again, this is a Nikon camera that's what 12 years old at the time.
Yeah.
With
what was the model?
With a kit lens. I think it was 3400.
My first one when I moved down here in 2012 was a D3200.
Yeah, I think I still have it at the house. I think it's a 3200 or 3400, and with a kit lens, right? Like I'm shooting in these dark environments with an f4.
Yeah,
and like I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, start shooting around.
Were there a lot of people doing photos in that space at that time? I feel like.
Not as much as it is now. I think it's gained a lot of popularity. There were plenty of people that were doing it, but it was a very much smaller community than what it is now. Now there's, I feel like, way more.
Whenever you go to an event like that, there's always
now there's a bunch. Now like
there's always people with cameras there.
There's people that have been there for a while. Now there's people, like I said, now there's people that have been there for a while. There's people that want to come in there, and then it's almost. I mean, I would say it's a little hard to come in now because it's very like, unless you come in with like a company that is kind of brand new to the space too, like I feel like it's a little bit harder to kind of push your foot in the door. So I got in like at the right time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was shooting around gyms, and at the time when I was working out in CrossFit, I already knew a bunch of gym owners locally. So I was like, hey, I'm just gonna stop by your gym one day and just take some photos and just practice. So I was like, once a week I would go to like another gym. So I would almost like, because each gym is very different, like they're all either in garage bays or anything. It's not like anything that's nicely lit.
Yeah.
So I would always just adapt to the environment and figure out how to make it work. And then kind of just, I already knew everyone, so that once I had a camera, like, people would already just like inquire in the CrossFit space. Like I already almost had like a little book of business because people knew who I was to begin with. So then when I had a camera, it was getting bigger. Then it was like, oh, we're just going to go to him. And then it really kind of blew up. Wadapalooza, which is an event that happens once a year in Miami. I think it was 2018. I was just shooting in the stands. I just had like a free day to go, and I was photographing like the top athletes. Just like I said, I was a spectator, and I was photographing them, and I would post them on my Instagram page, and then they would repost it or all that stuff. Or at the time, you don't collab, right? Like they would have to screenshot your photo and then post it on theirs, and then they would tag you or whatever. And that was happening like plenty of times. And I was like, okay, well, it's kind of cool. Yeah. All of a sudden, like,
is that how you grew a lot of your following?
Well, now I know all of them. It's like nowadays I know like a lot of the top athletes and stuff like that, so it's different. But at the time, they would just almost like just take your photo and then tag you, right? Yeah. So and then it gained a lot of traffic, and no one really knew who I was until kind of after that time, and then it just
like that one event.
That one event,
that's
like
so
just snowballed.
Sick, dude.
Yeah. Because it just took, let's just say like hypothetically, let's just say the top 5 athletes took your image and used your profile in a small community that didn't have as many content creators across the world. Like, all right, somebody saw it.
Yeah.
So, and it just kind of blew up from there. And that was at a time in Instagram where people would actually go out of their way to look at a page and go follow them. Right? Like
yeah, when it was more photography based too. And
for me, sometimes
what year was that?
2018 probably.
Okay.
Or it was either 20. Yeah, it was 2018.
Yeah.
Because nowadays there's sometimes like I'm a huge fan of someone's page, but I don't follow them. I'll like look at what they have like because it came on my feed.
Yeah.
Now back then it was like, oh, this person, I'm gonna follow them. Everything was like following. So a lot of things has changed on Instagram too.
Yeah.
I've noticed you have to take like one viral video and it's over.
Yeah. So that's really cool. You took 2 things that you were passionate about, smushed them together,
Yeah.
and built a whole fucking life around it.
Yeah, it worked out.
Super cool.
Yeah,
So cool, dude.
And it's also luck. I mean, I'm never gonna be the one that says I built it. I built it myself, but I had help, I had luck, I had all types of stuff. And one of those things. So there's a girl, Danny Spiegel. So she's like one of the top athletes, and she's been around for a little while. At the time where I was first starting, I knew her because she used to live where my in-laws lived. So I would see her at the gym, I would visit, this and that. And at the time, she wasn't as big as what she was now. So I would stop by, hey, like, I'm in town, like, I'm going to work out, and then, like, just work out, and then I'll take some content of you. So as she grew, like, she took me along with her. So that helped as well. And then taking me along with her as well, her sponsors, like if she ever had, as she was growing, she would then get sponsors. And then anytime a sponsor says, hey, look, we need someone to shoot our stuff, here's my guy. So, and then that also brought me to Innovate, which is a shoe brand that I work with. They used to sponsor her, and then they just ended up keeping me there full time.
That's so not luck.
It's luck, dude.
No, you're discrediting yourself. That was extremely smart of you to be like, okay, I'm going to work out, and then I'm going to stay after, and I'm going to work for free. That's what you did.
No, but
people don't do that. People are like scared to work for free now.
No, but at the time, it wasn't working for free. It was like I didn't think of it as working for free because I didn't think it was going to be anything. The plan of doing this photography thing full time was never the plan. I never had the plan to do it full time. I have plenty of podcasts where I said I'm never doing this full time. Plenty of them because I didn't think I was going to do it full time. I was thinking, all right, I'm going to work this job and then I'm going to do this on the side, and that was kind of it. I thought I would get burnt out if I did photography full time or any of that full time. So that was never the plan to do it full time. It just happened that way because it made the most sense. And I was home more, and I was realizing that I was at a job that was taking up 40 hours a week of my life when I was making more doing one gig in a half day than what I was making 2 weeks there. So that's what happened. It was never the plan to do this full time.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like to me, I wasn't working for free. I was like, oh, let me just practice because this is kind of fun. And then it just kind of worked out that way. And then it started becoming, all right, now I'm getting business. Now I'm working for this brand every month. Okay, now I'm on a salary retainer with them. Okay, great. Like now other brands are using me for other things, and then I get connected so well in the CrossFit space that like now any athletes that are remotely local to me that I travel to, they kind of refer me. But that also has to do with, experience and not even experience like shooting, but giving the person that you're with a good experience, because if I could be the best photographer in the world, but if you don't like me, you're not going to refer me to anything.
Do you feel like you got a lot of experience from your insurance job, like customer relations?
Probably.
Yeah. What was your degree in?
Graphic design.
Okay. It's all starting to make sense.
It's all over the place. It's
it is. Yeah.
It's not a straight line. So
that's so funny, man. Most people are like, I feel like they have a goal and they have a plan and they just like set out after to like take the steps to achieve that stuff, and it's like very calculated. But it seems like for you, shit just kind of like happened. You know?
I mean, when I got out of college, I worked for a graphic design firm. It was a nightmare, and then I got let go, and then I had a buddy of mine that went to a CrossFit gym, the same CrossFit gym as me. And the thing is, I'm very good at selling a product or just selling in general. I'm a good salesman. And that's probably what helps me a lot in selling myself.
Right.
So
It's where most creatives lack.
I know
Yeah.
plenty of them that are super talented, but they can't sell a glass of water in the desert.
Yeah.
And then that lets them that puts them behind on trying to close a client.
Yeah.
But at the time, I lost my job, and then I went to my buddy and I was like, "Hey, look, like I know you're like a manager for something. I didn't even know what it was. I said, "Hey, I know you're a manager for something. Do you need help?" Or he's like, "Oh, we're actually looking for someone." I was like, "What the hell do you guys do?" "Oh, we do insurance." I said, "Okay, sick. Like, what do I need to know?" He's like, "Do you know how to sell something?" "Yes, that's easy. You're gonna be just fine. You just have to get this little license thing, and we'll teach you
Yeah.
the rest." And then I was stuck in insurance for however many years. And then I left, but he was long gone before I left. Like he wasn't there anymore. And then I was there, and then I started doing photo on the side in 2017, and then left last year, 2022.
So yeah, so you've been in business for yourself for
A year
over
only.
a year. A year. Okay.
I mean, well, okay. It's funny, right? I've technically been in business for 6 years, but I only consider myself 1 year in.
Right. Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
You just move different when you don't have another
Correct.
like source of
Security.
income coming in. So yeah, you
Yeah.
move different. So would you consider yourself like a photographer first, and then the video is kind of like an ancillary, like a secondary add-on thing, or do you consider yourself like hybrid, or like how do you like if somebody is like, oh, I want this, and you're like, oh, well, that's what I do, but like I really like to do, because for me, someone's like, oh, like I want to do like a family photo session. I was like, I could do it, and that's fine. But like my passion lies in like storytelling and video creation, and that's like where I want the core of my work to be. So for you, is it more like photography based around the fitness space, or do you like photo and video equally, or?
So the words I should probably use moving forward is, "Hey, I have a production company,"
Okay.
but I never use that. I usually
Yeah.
say, "I shoot photo and video."
Yeah.
And it sounds so simple and dumb, right? Like when you just say, "Oh, I shoot photo and video." Well, then for who? Well,
Yeah, for who? The
then I
questions
kinda
you
go
get are
into
for
it.
who, or what kind of photos, or what kind of videos, like.
But it's almost like when I say I shoot photo and video, it opens up that question, and then I'm able to communicate with those people further.
That's a good point, too.
Because if I say a production, oh, cool, that's nice.
Production of what? Like, yeah.
Some people don't ask,
Yeah.
but when you, I mean, for me again, I don't use production company just because I just don't think about it. But I was like, oh yeah, I shoot photo and video, and then oh yeah, what, like for who, for what? I'll shoot everything. It depends on the project or whatever. I'll shoot fitness most of the time, but then I have other projects where I don't.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like that. So it's I don't even have like a title for myself, right? Like I just, oh yeah, I shoot photo and video.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much like a
Go with the flow.
Yes, very much that way.
So what do you do when you're not shooting photos and videos?
Like my spare time,
Yeah.
editing.
I edit said photos and videos.
I edit the things.
Yeah, that's the life.
But at least now, I'm spending a lot more time with my son and my family and stuff like that because I didn't have that before.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I was working 40 hours a week in an office, and then when I had off days is when I would shoot. So in reality, I was working whatever, 50, 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was the way that needed to be done.
Yeah.
And then I think I told you the story before, but like, what was it? Last year, October time or September time, I was leaving the house on a Saturday because that's when I had to go to work.
Yeah.
And Logan, my son, he's comprehensive. He speaks sentences at this point. He's like 2.5.
Yeah.
And he grabs my leg and is like, "Daddy, please don't go to work," like crying. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then and I was like, "Logan, I have to go to work. I have to." And then that like broke the shit out of me on the drive home because he didn't really do that before. Like he would get upset, but he wouldn't actually say like, "Daddy, please don't go to work."
Yeah.
And then on the drive home, sometimes I listen to like the motivational speaker stuff.
Yeah. Who's your favorite one?
Well, I have to be like in a mood to listen to one, so I don't really have a
Yeah.
favorite. It just depends on my mood. what he said was, is if you don't like, sorry, what did he say again? He said, if you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret. And that shit stuck to me so hard. And that to happen the same day that like Logan was telling me not to go to work is when I knew. I was like, okay, like if I don't do this, if I don't figure it out, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. And then
there he is right there.
there he is. He's right there in the back.
But all the kids are outside. We locked them out.
Yeah. No, so
Out of love, we locked them out.
Yeah, no, they're having fun together. But
We swear they're having fun. They're okay.
But that's what really did it, because it just, because I felt like I lost nearly 3 years of his life.
Yeah.
Because during COVID, we still had to go back to the office. I didn't have no stay at home or break or anything like that. I didn't work from home. I couldn't, because all of our stuff is in person.
Right.
So ever since he was born, I was either in the office or doing something else.
Yeah.
So I've probably done more things with him and my wife this year, or even just stuff for myself this year, than I've done in the last 6 years.
That's incredible. Yeah, I think that people, I don't know. I feel like some people can do that type of stuff and have like a regular full-time job, you know? I don't know, but for me, I found it hard to have to balance, you know? I don't know. What do you think, I mean, do you feel like certain people really have that like entrepreneurial like mindset where I guess I'm trying to like frame this up correctly, like, because there's like, think about it. There's so many people in the world who have like regular full-time jobs, work for some company or whatever, and like have a good work family life balance, and they're thriving or happy and they enjoy that and they're fine with that. What makes us different, that like we don't want to be told where to go, and like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think it's just a certain breed, right? Like
Yeah.
there's people like you and I that we don't mind working for someone, but we also want to dictate when we're doing that.
Yeah. Did you always feel that like going into the insurance job, like it was like going against the grain for you?
No.
Yeah.
I was very adapted to that
Yeah.
type of lifestyle for so long.
So just
that it made no
becoming a
sense.
father is what changed it for you.
Yeah, having
Okay.
a little creature come
Little
up
human?
to you, a little
Yeah.
human come
Yeah.
up to you, and begging you not to go to work on a weekend where most people should be at home. I probably wouldn't have had a big problem if I had every weekend off.
Okay.
Because if I had every weekend off, you know, my wife works 9 to 5 Monday through
Yeah.
Friday. My son's at school 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So the only days that I have time to spend with him are the weekends, and I can't even be there.
Okay.
You
Interesting.
know,
Yeah.
so that's kind of what did it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I went to work that day and I did math, right? I was like, okay, how much am I making a year just photo? Oh, I'm making double the amount in what, 1/8 the time?
Yeah.
What happens if I do half the time into it? Why am I here?
Yeah. Yeah. So
And then,
smart.
you know, when I made that decision, I contacted all the people that I was already working with, whether they were on. At the time, I only had one on retainer, and then the other ones were just like one-offs. And then I contacted the other ones that were one-offs, like, hey, look, I'm gonna actually. You probably don't know this, but I'm gonna be doing this full time now. I was always doing something else. Is this something that you want to continue on for 2023? Whether you want to do a retainer thing or a quarterly thing or a bi-monthly thing, and then that's how it kind of
Snowballed.
I solidified everything. Like I had a base that I knew that over the course of the year I was going to be okay with, and then I just have to try to figure out the rest.
Yeah.
And it was weird, right? Like the first month it just exploded even more than I thought. I was like, oh, okay, great. Like I was like, hey, honey, we're gonna have to, you know,
Cut back.
figure out our bills and cut
Yeah.
back and stuff like that. And then month one, poof,
Why?
I don't know, dude. Like that's what I'm
Do you-
talking
don't-
about.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like I can't tell you.
But rewind the paragraph. You started off with saying that like you got honest with people and told them like where you were at in your life. Maybe that had something to do with it. You were like, look, I don't know if you know this, but I'm doing this full time now, and you
Yeah.
were like completely honest with them, and they were probably like, oh,
No, but the thing is,
I
was
never
getting-
knew that he was doing it on the side.
But
you know?
when I meant like everything exploded is like there were new companies getting involved.
Yeah.
The same.
What
people
about
that-
manifestation? Do you believe in that?
I don't.
That's a deeper conversation, I feel like, but
Like, I feel like I don't. Like, I can say all I want, like, oh, yeah, I want to make this much per year, but then if you don't actually, like, yeah, I can manifest it, but at the end of the day, I'm very much like, okay, what do I need to do now? And then I'm going to figure out the results at the end of the year.
Right. But I think you were also like, maybe you manifested it in a different way. Like you were like, well, I want to be able to spend time with my family, you know, and I want to not have to work, you know, every weekend, and I want to build my own life. And you kind of like, you manifested that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not like cerebral like that to just like think about it. It just
you're
just
more
has
like
to
a
happen.
tactical.
It just literally has to do like very, very strategic because like I said, it took me whatever from 2017 to 2023 for me to decide that I'm comfortable enough to go on its own, at least with the base that I had.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll have to figure out some stuff, but we're gonna make it work.
Yeah.
And then it just was better. I was, and I think not many of my followers at the time knew that I was doing both either. They thought I was doing photo full time or content creation full time.
Yeah.
And then when I posted about it, you know, I have people that have their own business like, oh, dude, I didn't know. Now that you have more time, like, do you think I can book you? I'm like, dude, why didn't you just message me before? You know what I mean? Like, why didn't you just tell me? So little stuff like that, like, you know, it just, again, I call it luck, or I call it being in the right place at the right time, or whatever. Other people tell me, oh, no, you're just really good. And I just don't, I see my own stuff every day. I have imposter syndrome. I can't, I don't know why people do it, but I'm still doing it. So that's it.
Wow.
I'm very, I'm sorry to burst everyone's bubble here that it's not like as inspirational.
No, that's, I mean, dude, it doesn't need to be. I think that, yeah, everybody paves their own way and has their own story, you know, and that's exactly why I wanted to chat with you. But I'll share how I met you, which is an interesting story too, right? So
Halloween. I remember.
Yeah. So
well, we met before, but like you knowing what I do is Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was almost 2 months ago now, right? So like we know a lot of the same people. We have like mutual friends, right? Before we even connected and met, because you know the CrossFit space and everything in South Florida is not like a huge community. It's pretty small, and a lot of my friends are in that space. And I'd always seen yourself on Instagram, and then we got a new neighbor, and I was like, oh, you know, what's up, dude? You know, and like the wife started talking, the kids, you know, the kids connect, whatever. And then then Halloween comes around, and I see you walking out with the Sony. I'm like, dude,
who's this guy?
Are you a photographer, dude? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you do this for a living? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, damn, we need to connect. I'm like, what's your Instagram? And then I'm like, oh, dude, I know so many people who know you. It's such a small world. So I believe, even things like that, like, I believe that everybody gets placed in someone's life for a reason, you know, and that may not be destiny or whatever it is, but like, you know, there's a reason that our paths crossed and that we were able to sit here today and share a little bit about our journeys and all that stuff. Because I think one thing that we both would agree on is that it feels good to inspire others to do whatever it is they're passionate about, and to know that they can buy back time. And that time is really the only resource that we have. It's the most valuable thing, right? And once you figure that out and you figure out what you're passionate about, you can build a life that you're happy about and that you're excited to wake up, and that you're not feeling like you're going against the grain when you're going somewhere every day, whether it's to a job or to a place you don't like, or there's negative energy. I think that's the bottom line, you know? So like we're all here for a reason. We cross paths for a reason, and inspire people, but also pave our own path, you know? Like, I think at the end of the day, that's fucking awesome. So,
and I want everyone to understand that I'm not the person that's going to say, hey, quit your job today and do it.
Yeah.
Right? It took a lot of math for me, going back and forth on whether I'm doing this on its own and stuff like that. And it took me 6 years to figure that out.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's, and I've said this before, there's people that live with their family and don't have many bills, and you can just start off, do it. Might as well just find out if you like it or not, and then you could quit, and you don't have. For me, I had a family to take care of. I have bills to pay, and I'm on my own with my wife and stuff like that. So it's different.
Yeah. How old are you now?
I'm 33.
33. Okay. I'm 37. So
right.
I think that's another important thing to think about too, is that like everyone has their own journey on their own timeline. Right. And like, dude, some people think like 37, 30, like it's too late. Like no.
No, man, I feel like I'm just
Dude,
getting started.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
right?
the same, that's the same exact
Yep.
way that I feel. And look, like I moved, like a little bit about my stories. I moved to Florida in 2011 from New Jersey with nothing.
Jersey.
Nothing. Literally 2 suitcases of clothes.
Wow.
Right. To
Cool.
start a new life. And now to see where I am and to reflect back on that, I had no camera gear. I had nothing. I had a car, you know, that I was making payments on, and I was working in a pizzeria. I always worked in pizzerias because I failed out of college, and everyone told me that I can't make a living doing photography and video work, and I just believed it.
So you've always been shooting?
Always.
Before.
Yeah. So I got my first digital camera in high school, similar to you. First camcorder with the mini DV tapes in 2007. I used to take videos of my friends drinking and having fun and being idiots and put them into like Windows Movie Maker and just share
almost
them.
like a skate mixtape, like
Exactly.
zoom in, zoom out. Yeah.
That's it, yeah. And that's where I got my love for like storytelling and stuff like that. And like my grandpa and my aunt would always have like on the shoulder camcorders at holidays and shit. And then I got one for Christmas in 2007, and that was when I really got the jump on it. But yeah, I bought a camera off Craigslist, a D3200, about a year after I'd been down here and saved some money, and I started shooting bands. Like all my buddies were into like hardcore music and stuff like that, hardcore music, and I would go to the venues to take photos. Same situation, almost as you. Like, dude, it's the worst camera. Like charge the bands for like promotional pictures or something,
Just
you know,
something,
like
anything.
yeah. So then I was like, yo, like, you know, do you guys need like pictures for like your Facebook or whatever? So then like I did that, and I started making a little bit of money. And I'm like, wow, you know, I was still working in the regular job too, but then I realized like I could make money doing this, you know, and then my buddy's band, I upgraded from the D3200 to the D7000. Right. And then my buddy's band, they hired someone to do a music video. And I seen the guy, he was using the same camera that I had, the D7000, to film the video. And I'm like, wait a second. Can this thing do fucking videos too? I'm like, holy shit, dude. So once I realized that you could like switch back and forth between the two, I'm like, I knew nothing about video. Right. And I was still learning photography. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm self-taught, like, YouTube everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
I do the same thing.
Learn the 3 basic fundamental settings and then go from there.
Probably at least
you know?
twice a month, someone will message me saying, "Hey, you know, what do you do for this, or what do you do for this?" And I literally say YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I do it.
You need to make a course, but that's another conversation for another day.
I don't. Bro, listen, let me tell you.
If somebody's
I don't know how to
asking you-
teach anyone shit.
If somebody's asked, yeah, but I've learned too over time that if somebody's repeatedly asking you the same question, like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? That there's something there for you, right? Like people are always asking me for recommendations on camera gear, so I built out an Amazon affiliate page where I have links, and that if somebody asks, say, hey, what camera should I get? I'm like, go get this one, and then it's an Amazon link, and you get a couple cents if they buy it.
Yeah, for me, I'm like, all right, I don't want to direct you on what you want to do. Go on YouTube and watch 6 different people.
You're just like, go figure it out yourself kind of guy.
It's not necessarily to go figure it out yourself, but I'm not necessarily the most verbally tech savvy. When it comes, like, I'm not going to tell you what each camera is capable of doing. I just can tell you what I do with mine.
Yeah.
Right? So there are people that would probably do better with a Canon than a Sony, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I can just tell you what I do with a Sony and what I like to do with a Sony.
Yeah, I mean, with photography and video stuff, it's
Yeah.
like there's a specific tool for each job.
Correct.
You know, so it
Yeah,
could be.
if someone specializes in fitness and wants to do both, Sony is, you know, pretty much the best hybrid for it. But if that's not what you're doing and you like shooting family photos all the time, I would probably say like Canon is really, really good with their colors and their images.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of wedding photographers use Canon for that reason, or at least that's from the people that I'm around.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I typically say, hey, look, to be honest, I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but write your question on a YouTube a search bar, and you're going to see 8 videos that are all like 40 minutes long, and they are going to teach you everything that you need to know and their preference and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're all going to have a different answer. But one of those answers are probably going to fit you.
That's still good advice.
So like,
Yeah, that's still great
and
advice.
and it's not like I'm trying to be lazy. I'm just telling you, I don't want that advice to come from me. So that if I tell you, hey, you should buy this, this, and this, and you hate it, I don't want the blame for you hating it.
You don't want the rap.
So I would rather you get like, you go to the doctor and you get a second opinion. There's 8 opinions on YouTube right there.
Yeah.
And anytime I buy anything, whether it's a lens or a camera or whatever, I'm watching at least 6 YouTube videos for the same item.
Yeah, same.
Like, I want to buy an FX3 next year. I'm going to watch 8 videos off the FX3.
Yeah, same.
Or why I would get an FX3 over why not get an FX6, or why not get this other camera, or a Blackmagic, or whatever. Like, I'm going to figure out which one.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not calling other people lazy. I'm just saying it doesn't hurt to
Do your own research.
Do your own research and get opinions from multiple people for the same question instead of just the one. Maybe they are asking multiple people, but they are a lot more technical on the exact capabilities of each camera.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that once I like really like saw that the like photos and videos could be like in one camera body, I was like blown away with that.
Yeah.
And then my friends gifted me that camera right there. Grab it off the shelf. Yeah. Grab that sucker. So
Was this the A7 I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my friends gifted me this camera.
It's weird that it's shiny. All the other ones are like matte, right?
Right? Yeah. In 2015, I think. Listen to the shutter in this thing. Wait. No. Please.
Is the battery on?
No.
Oh no. That's not.
It's so
not
loud.
used to that.
Yeah, exactly. You're not used to that, right? But yeah, my friends gifted me this camera, like the record button on the side, in 2015, and dude, this was like, this fucking thing catapulted me into a place that I never could have imagined.
I wasn't initially going to go to Sony's, but so when I started with Nikon, I got my old one.
Yeah.
Right. And then once I started getting traction, I was like, all right, I'm shooting more often. I need more of a workhorse. And I think I bought like 6 months later, after kind of getting into the space, I was like, oh, I don't want to spend a bunch of money. So I think I bought like a 7200, it's like $1,000 at the time.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
For me, it was a lot of money, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, what am I going to do? I have to find something that's going to at least break even. And again, I even have a job on the side. So I was like, dude, I need like $1,000. I think at that time is when I bought a Best Buy card and I have like 0% financing. So I was like, all right, cool. Like $100 a month. I can try to figure this out.
For 10
pay
months.
this off, whatever.
Easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
I was like, I got to figure this out. I got to do it. And then I think it was like another 6 months after using the 7200, or like 8 months, my buddy, that he was like, Sony like swears by Sony up and down. And I think at the time is when like the 3 just came out.
The A7 III?
Yeah.
Yeah, which was like...
Or was the 2. Either way, he was like all Sony decked out, like and everything. He's like, dude, you got to go to Sony. Blah, it's way better. I was like, no, I'm fine with my Nikon. And he's like, no, I'm telling you, like almost every week, he's like, you got to go to Sony, you got to go to Sony. And then eventually, things started getting a lot crazier. So I was like, okay, let me look into Sony. What I did, I went on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was at least...
You were deep in the web.
It had to be at least like 24 hours of, not like not a full day, but like 24 hours accumulated of video that I watched.
Yeah.
On Sony A7 III. Mm-hmm. The whole time. What lenses do I need? Because I had to sell everything that I had to switch over, because I didn't have anything that could be compatible with Sony.
Investing in one ecosystem is a scary thing.
And at the time, I didn't have much of Nikon. I think I had just the bodies. And then I had a 7200 from Tamron. And then I don't even think I had primes. I think I had like another 24 to 70, but it was like that was also a Tamron. So those are like the 2 things I had. So I wasn't like full blown like 10K deep into gear to switch. So it wasn't that bad. But then once I switched to Sony, I was like, there's no other company I'm ever going to go to again.
No turning back.
Right? Because, you know, there's a bunch of lenses that are compatible, which might be a little bit more cost effective, like Tamron, Sigma.
Yeah.
And then, like, you obviously got to, like, buy the Sony stuff that matters. And then once I had the A7 III and then I, like, shot a couple weddings, I was like, okay, I need a second body, especially if I'm doing events. So then I bought a second one. And then now I have two A7 IVs. I have an A7 III, but that's just almost there for decoration now.
And backup cam.
Yeah. Well, that one is the only one. The A7 III is the only one that works on my underwater housing.
Oh, you got to keep it then.
But I need to fix the LCD screen.
Dude, you have an underwater housing?
Yeah. But I've only used that thing like 3 times.
I might have to borrow it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've always wanted to try.
It's not.
I've never.
It's cool. It's you just gotta.
Is it like a hard one or is it like the plastic, like soft case?
No, it's a hard one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Does it have like the bubble so you can get like half under? Oh, dude, I'm borrowing that.
Yeah.
I'm borrowing that.
Just let me know. You just you take your kids to the pool.
What lens can fit in it?
I've fit my 35 Sigma, so like you know how large Sigmas are.
Yeah.
So I think you can fit a decent amount of stuff.
But
in
you
there.
can't zoom the lens anyway once it's in there.
I think you can.
Really? There might be like a little gear or something on the outside. I'll have to check.
Like
it
I
out.
said, I only used that thing like 4 times.
How
times.
much did you spend on it?
It was like $1,000.
Yeah, those are expensive.
Yeah.
That's why I've
At the
never
time,
bought
I was
one.
like, oh, cool, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use it all the time. And I'm like, use it 3 times. I went like once to the beach and like 3 times to the pool. And then I was like, all right, great, whatever. So I have it. And like, I've thought about selling it because the thing is, if I ever did underwater stuff again, like I would need something that fits the 4.
Yeah, because the button layout is different, right?
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, it's made specifically
fit.
for the Sony A7 III. Yeah, just keep it. Yeah, just keep it.
Either way.
All right, kids are knocking on the door. Let's wrap it up, man. That was an awesome conversation. Thank you for spending the time with me.
Yeah, just come on by next door.
Yeah. Let's leave the people with something inspirational here. So if somebody is, let's say maybe somebody's on the fence about, what would you say to inspire someone to maybe try to get out there and find what they're passionate about? How would somebody do that?
Okay, so this has to do with any profession. It doesn't have to be with this. If there's something that you really like to do and it actually makes you money that's worth your while, take the leap and do it, right? If it doesn't make you money, and I mean, just grind away, still do multiple things at once until it makes sense for you to do things. Again, I'm very tactical, so I wouldn't say just full send it. Do your due diligence.
Be responsible.
Be responsible. Do your research. Because working for yourself is so much more rewarding than working for someone else and, getting nothing to show for it.
Love that. All right, everyone. See you in the next one.
Woo-hoo.